Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A 208 with us, the British Fist. With me, Mr. Parkin, and I'm afraid I've got some bad news. And the NJ's tasting shirts is bloody awful. And mine is great because I've got a Ron Burgundy Stay Classy Miami shirt. Yay!
This is the best Bad News Barrett shirt that's been released. Or Wade Barrett shirt that's been released.
Hashtag TMB? Yeah? What's the new one? He had Bad News Barrett. Now he's TMB or what? It's King Barrett, isn't it? Now?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I've not been keeping up with things. So. Anyway, yeah, if you want to ask us questions, the best way to do it is in the comment section below. We have got an absolute nightmare amount of questions to answer. And if you've asked recently, then please be patient because it's going to take a while for us to get through some of these questions. But we are very thankful for all the questions that you've asked us, aren't we, NJ?
We are indeed, and I would like to say this again. If you haven't already, please make sure you like our Facebook fan page, which will be in the links in the description box below, as we dive now into the first question.
Which was asked by Renegade Man 83. Thoughts on Brock Lesnar re-signing with the WWE? Which WWE and NXT wrestlers do you want Lesnar to feud with? Wow, a question from about March. A two-part question. He's going to answer some more after this one, but Brock Lesnar is signing with WWE. Are you bothered? Do you think this is a good or a bad move for WWE?
Good and bad. Bad because, as you may have heard, I really lost interest in Brock Lesnar really quickly. Yes, he was the big thing, the money draw to pay-per-views, but I just didn't care, mainly because he really weren't there, and it was only when he started to go ballistic on John Cena where things picked up and we were starting to see a better side to him. But it's good that he's re-signed because he's Brock freaking Lesnar, and the WWE need that big obstacle to pass because, yeah, they've got John Cena, but we know he doesn't really put people over. Like, Brock Lesnar is pretty much there to eventually do it to people.
I think, well, what is good about Brock Lesnar, even though you may have lost interest in him, he is still somewhat of a special attraction. I think having him around at least gives people that sense of rejuvenation when he does come back. And, you know, even though he does go for some time, when he does come back, you know business is picking up. As to people that he could feud with, well, I think Lesnar will turn babyface. I do, and I think he'll feud with Seth Rollins when he comes back, just based off what happened at WrestleMania. Perhaps Roman Reigns.
Seth Rollins would be the first choice because obviously the face turn and the tease of a feud. The name that has been going around, which likely won't happen, is Randy Orton. That match has been top guy in Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, the top guy coming back. But obviously right now with this possible face turn, that match will have to be put on hold. But I think Rollins, and I would like to somehow see Orton.
I mean, you could put Roman Reigns in there just as a rematch value from, you know, it never really went to a completely clean finish between them two. So there is reason for there to be another match if he continues to be heel, or if indeed Roman Reigns eventually turns heel. I
think Reigns, when Lesnar comes back, should possibly want to get his revenge. Don't do the triple threat, no, because we've got a teaser that at WrestleMania. But there's one guy who sadly is not making our list, and that's Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's not going to be the guy to go in that place anymore.
Not now, anyway.
No.
Do you think WWE should have John Cena versus Reigns for WrestleMania, where John Cena is champion for the 16th time? I think that's a match they're going to have to do at some point, especially if John Cena puts Roman Reigns over, and Roman Reigns can actually benefit from that feud. It's something that, I mean, it would be probably the best main event they could do with two full-time people on the roster, would you not say?
I do agree that Cena and Reigns, just like I thought Reigns and Triple H, is a match that should happen. It's maybe going to be up there with John Cena and Bryan. You know, it's the two big guys you've got in your company, apart from Brock, who should square off, face off, and have that big battle of the two top guys.
What is your favourite Macho Man WrestleMania match / moment? You've listed a few here, but I'm just going to go with WrestleMania. There are quite a lot, actually. I mean, you had WrestleMania 3, that great match against Steamboat. Great match. Now, great moment, him and, I believe, was it in WrestleMania 8, where him and Elizabeth, when he was Macho King, and then he turned face again, and him and Elizabeth got back together?
Mine's similar to that. It's the feud with Hogan,
Oh, the
and he
Mega
rushes
Powers.
backstage, and
Yes.
you thought that Elizabeth had been attacked or something, and then in comes the start, I think, attack Hogan or something, the story was. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good. I mean, even the Ultimate Warrior match itself was pretty good. And there was a lot of good moments there. It's very, very hard to pick one because there are a couple of good ones. Griefer Beyond 21. Brock Lesnar has officially signed another contract with WWE again. Thoughts?
Rewind.
Yeah, just rewind about 3 minutes and you'll get them. What are your guys' views on Asian wrestlers in general? Do you know, I think that if WWE is going to be a worldwide brand, and they're going to want to get themselves out there in an Asian market, they need to make at least one Asian wrestler into some kind of a big star. You know, I don't know if the talent is there or not. I'm not really sure. I know TNA had some decent success in India with Rinka King, I believe that was. But you know, there aren't really any about right now. I mean, you've obviously got Hideo Itami from NXT, who could be some kind of star for the WWE and maybe represent a bit of an Asian demographic there.
The WWE really let us down, and I'm going to say one feud in particular, and I'm pretty sure fans may disagree with it, is when Jinder Mahal started to get relifted and he was going after Randy Orton. Back then, yes, we didn't really think that Jinder Mahal was going to beat Randy Orton, but it was almost like Jinder Mahal was a character, if he didn't go through 3MB, that could have been a top heel, and maybe the feud with Orton could have helped it.
RFV089. Mr. Parkin, what are your thoughts on the way that FIFA is being run and the allegations of corruption surrounding the organisation? I don't know whether these allegations, well, they are allegations for a reason. I mean, it does seem like there's some kind of corruption going on in FIFA, and with what's going on with Sepp Blatter right now, it's very hard for me to give my thoughts on something when there's only really allegations surrounding corruption and surrounding the organisation. So it's really hard for me to answer that question. I do think it's about time for a change in leadership. I think Blatter's been there for a very long time now. It's just time for a new... I mean, if they want to get across the image of a better FIFA, they're going to have a different man heading it. That's just my opinion. Is it just me? But don't you think that the writing in WWE seems to be done at the last minute and that WWE doesn't really have a long-term plan for any of its guys? Yeah, it does feel that way. Yeah, it does. But, I mean, that's just the modern day we're in right now. I mean, you know, they probably write a Raw on Monday and then, you know, they have maybe kind of a long-term plan, but then something changes it. And, you know, it does... They don't seem to very often set things out in advance and then go with it like that. They seem to just kind of go with whatever works. It's like with CM Punk, you had a great potential feud with Triple H there, who was, you know, the authority figure at the time, and then they just went through it in one pay-per-view. He came out of retirement, beat CM Punk, and then went back again. You know, there is an element of rushedness, if that is such a word. That wouldn't count on Countdown, by the way. There is a lot of that going on in WWE, and it is mainly due to the short-term writing, I believe, which I think they're trying to do to bring ratings, but it really isn't working.
I think the biggest thing that the WWE can sometimes get credit for is when they've got a big match in mind and what they do to build up to it. Like the Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns started to pick up better with the Seth Rollins getting involved and stuff. I could badmouth the Intercontinental. That gets messed up all the time. Nexus got messed up because of it being about Cena and Cena crushed it and stuff. I do think the last minute booking is shown in many ways, apart from sometimes the main event scene, which is the WWE pride and joy.
Yeah, and it's really only Vince McMahon that really is to blame for that as well. I mean, he is the head of the company, and a lot of the rewrites are down to Vince McMahon just tearing the scripts up and saying, I want a different script, or I don't want this guy to go over, I want my guy to go over. Kind of like when at the last minute he decided to just lumber on Vicky Guerrero that the main event of Survivor Series 2012 was going to change. It was going to be Ryback, John Cena, and CM Punk when it wasn't even in the fucking script. Do you remember that? And Vicky Guerrero had no idea what was going on. Do you remember when Vince McMahon did that?
Yes.
Pretty much. What, in your opinion, has gone wrong with the Ascension? I really enjoyed them in NXT, but WWE doesn't seem to know what to do with them. Right, first issue of many. They tried to package them as the Road Warriors, version 5 million. That's what they tried to do. And secondly, just because a gimmick is over in NXT, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be over with a mainstream casual audience. I mean, in NXT, it's mainly hardcore fans, fans that are kind of, know the inner workings of the business. Whereas, generally speaking, maybe I don't know whether this is true or not, but a majority of WWE's audience is casual audiences that don't know too much, or if anything, about the inner workings of the business, and that's went wrong with the Ascension. I mean, they just were packaged as an old tag team, and they just didn't get over. Even though they feuded against Road Dogg and Billy Gunn at one point, weren't they?
I think there was a small period of that, but my problem, the packaging was wrong, but it's also the promo work started to sound like it was going to go somewhere, especially with bringing the old school wrestlers in, which they only got to play one team. I feel is that even though they had a bad gimmick, the WWE gave up on them.
Yeah, they did give up on them pretty easily, didn't they? It's like they did like a couple of bad weeks, and it's like, no, that's it, sorted, done, no more. And maybe they do need to stick with it a few times and just see where it goes. I mean, when they first brought Daniel Bryan to WWE, he didn't get over straight away. And then a couple of years later, look how popular the guy is.
I think the one thing the WWE teased, which could have helped the Ascension, was when they brought JBL Farouk, when they brought the New Age Outlaws, when there was the multiple teams, old teams, they could have faced, had a feud with, probably about 2-3 matches, moved on to the next feud, and that could have been their gimmick for some time, taking down the ones that were in the past, then going on to the future, but they gave up.
RF13. What storyline would you build starting from the night after WrestleMania 31? I guess this is based on what happened at WrestleMania. This is a tough one. Go on, you give some thoughts.
Okay, I think they should really did more with the Damien Sandow and Miz.
Do you know what? I was going to suggest that, but I didn't think it would be big enough.
It could have been for Damien Sandow.
It could have been, yes, I agree.
But the other one is, of course, the main event scene, which I feel Brock Lesnar getting rushed to be, suspended, really didn't help to see his direction on who he's possibly going to go off and face next. I think he should have stuck around for a bit longer.
I know what I would have done straight away. I'd have had Roman Reigns in a feud with Triple H going into SummerSlam.
I missed that match.
But they did tease that match a few times, but why not build this long-term feud between Roman Reigns and Triple H? There's some obvious authority versus anti-authority storylines there. You've got Seth Rollins there, who was, as the authority, who had the Money in the Bank briefcase, actually, got one over on Roman Reigns. So why, you could, in the short term, have Roman Reigns feud with Seth Rollins, and then have, a long-term feud going with Triple H. I mean, it wouldn't have been that hard. It would have made a good match for SummerSlam, perhaps even main event.
And I do think going on to Raw, maybe not for the pay-per-view following, maybe for a one-off special match, maybe SummerSlam, did the tease of NWO DX.
In what, a Tiddlywinks match? Because that's probably all some of them are good for, unfortunately, at this point. What about Rusev? Or what about Sting? Which, I mean, I'm thinking, could they have not started maybe the build-up of a Sting versus Bray Wyatt match, or maybe done something a little bit different with Rusev other than having him lose to Cena 3 more times?
I think that maybe Cena should have won because it's him at WrestleMania, but Rusev could have taken Cena down to set up the next rematch that Rusev should have won. But either way, I think what we got, again, it's just like we said in past questions, as long as the main event is pretty much helping the future, that's all the WWE care about, but we've stated what we would have done to help the rest of the card out.
Ebro S, do you see Big Show retiring anytime soon? He's not showing signs of retirement, is he? I mean, the guy's still in pretty good shape for his age, and he's still being involved in quite big storylines and still being involved on TV every week. So one would imagine that he's not really retiring anytime soon, even though maybe it is about time he does.
It's like with Kane. The Authority are saving Kane from getting retired because obviously they've run out of things to do with Kane. Let's put him in the Authority. Big Show, I think the same reason with him. I think the Authority are saving him. If you get Big Show out of the Authority, yes, there's Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens coming in, but maybe after those, Big Show's done everything.
He's done everything. Well, he did everything 10 years ago, really, didn't he? But there you go.
True.
The Chase Allen. When do you think Vince will retire from the WWE? Probably when he dies. I can't see that guy retiring from WWE because you can just know how passionate he is about the WWE. At some point in time, when he gets to like 80, 85, he will probably still have some influence in the business. Will probably still head the business, just Triple H and Stephanie will be doing most of the work. I think, honestly, he won't retire until he dies. I really don't.
As much as that is the biggest theory going round, in past videos we have spoken about Vince McMahon passing the torch to Triple H via storyline and stuff. But in reality, yeah, it's whenever he passes away or gets an illness that makes him unable to think straight.
We're not wishing that upon him. We're just saying that it's that's the only thing that's going to stop him, because you just know he's going to want to be part of that business no matter what, because you can tell the guy has a fucking lot of passion for WWE.
It's in his
blood.
Yeah.
It's in his blood, isn't it? What NXT guys do you think would be the future of the WWE? Okie dokie, right. I definitely think Kevin Owens. I mean,
he'll have to be.
I mean, there's not too many big guys on the NXT roster, and he is one of those guys that stands out. He's very good on the mic. He can be very good in the ring. When we've seen on NXT and even on Raw, when he's booked strongly, he looks like a monster. So he's just got a lot of tools there, in my opinion. What about other people?
Two that I'm not sure about both, but I have really enjoyed Neville's performance. I'm not sure if he'd be called the future.
I don't think he'll be a top guy, but I think he'll be some kind of attraction in the mid card.
And Balor.
Finn Balor, yeah, no, he has a good look. He's Irish, so he would appeal to another audience other than the US. Fantastic entrance, great wrestler in the ring. Probably not as great on the mic as someone like a Kevin Owens, but yeah, I think Finn Balor, I think he does have a good future in the WWE. Yeah, you are quite right about that. People like Sami Zayn, I don't think will be the future, but I think will play a part in the mid card. I don't think they'll be the top guys, but there you go. Yes. Will Cena ever turn heel? The only time Cena will ever turn heel is when WWE are definitely sure they've got someone that can replace him in the babyface department.
Then you know.
It probably won't ever happen, but you never know. I think he wants to. I mean, you can tell the guy wants to at that point, but at the same time, you've seen that the massive influence he has on kids and the charities and everything, and you know, it is one of those decisions where you can understand why Vince McMahon won't do it right now. But maybe when he's playing less of a big part in WWE and they have Roman Reigns on the cusp of being that top babyface, they probably would do it.
Maybe people are wrong, because I've seen other people make videos thinking that Triple H and Steph won't really help Raw and SmackDown when they take over. But here's my thought. I think when Triple H does have more power over Raw and the wrestlers and stuff, I think he'll probably work better with the wrestlers, allowing Triple H to finally do the thing to John Cena and turn him heel.
Robert Hernandez, did you like the debut of Neville? Well, I will say this, at least they played to his strengths and put him in a match and not had him with a microphone.
It's like I've said, I think with Neville, I've enjoyed what he's been doing on Raw. But the debut, I think it was a strong way of bringing him in, and they've continued to keep that against the lower card of wrestling.
What has he been doing? I mean, I know he faced Seth Rollins. He's faced John Cena. What has he actually been doing? Because like I said, I haven't been watching Raw SmackDown. So what has he actually been doing in terms of feuding?
Barrett.
So he's feuding with Barrett right now.
Probably
Didn't they do something between him and Bo Dallas at one point?
Small
like
there's Stardust. I think they're just building him up again. But if they are building him up, he's facing mid-card wrestlers. So if the idea is possibly by the end of this year, chasing the Intercontinental might be a good way to go.
Yeah, I mean, he got to the final of the King of the Ring, didn't he?
With Barrett.
And lost, and then he beat Barrett on Raw. So he's in a little mini feud. Okay, so he's not doing too bad then. He's in a little mini feud with Wade Barrett. Much mic work from him, or?
Not fully, no.
Let's not put a mic in his hand, please, because he is horrible on the mic. That's been it for another Q&A. We've got another bloody 20 minutes.
And I want to stop right here.
Go on.
We've ended a Q&A on a positive note. Yes!
It's probably because we were talking about someone British.
And the future of WWE NXT.
Yes, NXT. Yes,
NXT.
NXT. Yeah, NXT. SAWFT soft NXT. Yes. So if you want to ask us more questions, and like I said, we have a shitload of questions. So if you do, please be patient. We will get to every single question. It's only fair on you guys, really.
And this has been yet another fun Q&A to answer your questions in. So please continue sending in your questions in the comment section below. And there will be no bad news from us. Until next time, YouTubers.
Stay classy.
Goodbye.